Well, hey, and welcome to another episode of Hush Hush Taboo Talks with Juju and Shay. I'm Juju.
And I'm Shay.
Listen now, we know we bringing back the movie conversations. They're not really reviews.
Yes.
They're our experience of the movies,
Yes.
right? Okay.
For our
that's
spooktacular
season. Yes. What is it? What did I write so much? Spooktober.
Yes.
But this is September. We started early because we couldn't help ourselves. Spooktimber.
Okay.
That's fine. Spookfall.
Right.
We could do this for 3 months.
Starting it off.
Right.
Oh,
So now we're doing, life happens, y'all. So now we're doing The Craft. We are talking about the movie The Craft from 1996. Yeah, it's definitely like one of my favorites.
I love that movie. Yes.
Oh, it's so good.
Yes.
I thought I could quote it because we watched it. You know, what we'll do is we'll jointly watch it just to have a refresher. Usually
Right.
they're movies we've seen.
Right.
And then we'll, talk about things that we, as adults, didn't maybe catch when we
seen it before. Right.
And the opening scene, I'm like, I don't remember all of these things.
I didn't remember
I
the
think they
opening
had,
scene.
bro, they must have had an ounce of weed on the
I was
table.
like, what
They
the
had all these
hell?
herbs and shit. And I'm like, what? But it was San Francisco.
Yeah. I was like, what the hell?
So listen.
I didn't see that scene. I was like, I didn't know that.
I didn't see that. They
Yeah.
must have edited that out on the
Yeah.
TV. But then I bought the DVD and I don't remember that. I'm going to go have to
Right.
fact check
Yeah.
that.
So,
we
'cause I'm
saw
like-
the unedited version.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on there. We had to
Right.
pause and like zoom
Yeah.
and shit. But, all right. So I'm referring to notes.
Me too.
One of the, I guess, summary plot, right? It's about,
okay.
and
Perfect.
please correct me or fill in if I'm missing anything. A high school girl goes into a high school girl. The actress who played her had shaved her head for a previous role, and then she wore wigs in The Craft. So I guess keep that in mind. But anyway,
I'll go with you.
she moved to San Francisco from somewhere. I
Side
forgot.
fact: she wore lace fronts.
Girl, she wore lace fronts.
I'm
And
done with
it is
you.
distracting, but don't let
I
that
cannot
deter you
do
from seeing the movie if you haven't seen it, because it's actually it makes it funnier. Like I feel like they all do that. But she moves there from somewhere with her father. Her mother passed. Spoiler alert! All of these reviews are spoiler alerts because we're talking about the movies.
Yes.
But you also had 30 years to see The Craft, so it came out 30 years ago, almost.
Yes.
Her mom has passed at this point. This is the opening scene. She's a witch. Her mom was a witch, and she is too. I think she knows it subconsciously,
Yes.
but not consciously until later.
Right.
She meets 3 girls, one of whom is a little unhinged, who are all practicing witches, and they go to Catholic school of all places, and they go through the ups and downs and the trials and tribulations of adolescence and early adults or pre-adults, but with the help of their powers.
Yes.
And then one of them just goes a little bit too crazy, and she becomes a dictator, and we all know what those are, and because we've dealt with them before, or at least we know of them. So she gets a little taste of power. It's kind of like, I guess, Satan in the Bible.
A little taste of power.
Yes.
Just a little taste of it.
A little, and goes crazy. It's like a hit of nicotine or something for her, or a really addictive drug.
Right.
And then the other two, that the not main characters, are kind of her minions. She even makes a point of that to say, oh, they don't think.
Right.
In front of them, and they just start laughing it off.
Yeah.
So the main character, the one who's I guess the most whole witch, not good, not bad, just whole.
Right.
Which I guess translates to good.
Yeah.
She's suspicious, obviously, of this crazy bitch, and she tries to distance herself. And of course, narcissists and
She called her
dictators.
narcissist too. She said you're narcissistic ways or something like that.
Literally
So she
used
literally
the word.
called her out. Yeah.
30 years before that thing became a pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
But she was the epitome of a narcissist, like gaslighting, abuse of power, all of these things. And they all got, you made a good point, if you want to talk about this, they all got what they wanted.
Yeah.
They all
and
got
they want
enough
more,
of what,
and they wanted more. Well, not all of them wanted more.
No.
The main, like you said, what's her name? The main witch?
Sarah.
Sarah. She
Yes.
didn't want more. She was like, hey, we got what we wanted. Now, why are we still doing this? She was questioning it, like, listen, guys, we need to calm down. We need to slow down. Like, she was balanced. Like you said, she's seen both sides, but she was like, why are we still going with this?
Right.
And I feel like it was an ego trip for Nancy. I felt like you said, once she had that little bit of power, and this happens today with people in authority figures. Once they have that little ounce of power, they go haywire and they don't know what to do with it, so they abuses it. And they have minions behind them that will not call them out on their bullshit. So it's just like real life situations. Like we were in a couple of situations in that light, you know.
Girl.
We were in a couple situations in that light where, and I found this that scene. It was a scene in the movie where she's in the car, Nancy's in the car, and she's driving, and I felt this to be a metaphor. She's driving the car, and the two minions is in the back seat. So she's like, you know, saying they can't think, and they're in the back seat, and they're just laughing while she's in control of the car, and she's doing all these dangerous things with them in the back seat, and they're just laughing it off. I felt like that was a metaphor of people can take control of your will without you even knowing. Literally, she had a will, but your will, if that makes sense, and you won't even know it because you're such in a trance of being up somebody's ass, or, you know, being for the person, vouching for them, or whatever the case may be. She used manipulating tactics to have them in the backseat laughing. They were literally in the backseat, taking the backseat, going off of everything she do. Everything she does is right, while putting them in dangerous situations, driving the vehicle, saying she has the power, saying that they can't think. I was in that position. I was a backseat girl before. Okay.
Same.
And
several times.
Yeah, several times. And that I felt like was a real life moment. Like, wow, she's literally taking control of the wheel, and they're letting her, and they look like freaking idiots in the back seat. And Sarah's just looking at them and looking at her like, what the hell did I get myself into? She's awake, like she noticing this stuff happen. Like, what is going on here? Why did I put myself in this situation? These are not my real friends.
No.
So that was the kicker for me.
Yeah, that's an eye opener.
Yeah.
The fact that she's saying, they hurling insults at them.
Yes.
And they're just like laughing it off.
Yeah.
And then she's trying to run red lights.
Yeah.
But they happen to be green when she's passing them, probably because she's making them green. Like she was trying to say she's like all powerful.
She got the power, right?
She got that power. And then the main character, Sarah, she's like, one of these times. First of all, I love Robin Tunney. I think that's the actress's name. It just seemed to me that she was like really high throughout the whole movie. She's so relaxed. And I'm like, I wish I was that relaxed with all this turmoil going on. But she's like, one of these times, Nancy, the light's not going to be green. Which is true. But this bitch is speeding down Rodeo Drive, and she's like, Nancy, slow down. Yeah. I would have been like, bitch, stop the car. I need to get out. Stop. You know, at this point, you don't care about your own life, much less mine.
Exactly. But,
and then she's like, no, real quick. And then Nancy goes, oh, wow, we're scared, Sarah. Do you want in or out of the circle? So
if you don't do what I say.
The extremism of the narcissistic abuse is crazy. And like you're being bullied into saying yay or nay. Yeah. She already said no. Yes. She said no several times. Yes. But they try to intimidate you. Yes. And they think that since they're louder, they're more correct. No, you're not. Strong, you're wrong. Yes, that's what it is.
Yes. Also, I like to mention in the beginning of the movie, and I didn't even write this down, but I'm thinking about it now. In the early beginning of the movie, it was a guy that came to her door, like a homeless guy or a crazy guy, with a snake.
He sure did.
But that is symbolic, right? I feel like, because snakes in real life is symbolic for an enemy. When you see a snake in your dream, that means you have an enemy. That's like the folk tale, whatever the case may be, you know, the myth, the metaphor. If a snake is in your dream, you have an enemy. So I feel like he was trying to warn her about these girls she's going to meet, that they're going to be, you know, they're your enemy, they're not good for you. Even when she was with these girls walking down the street, he still had the snake, and he was trying to warn her, like, listen, like, I'm trying to talk to you, I'm trying to tell you something, but she made him get hit by a car. I feel like he was trying to warn her about those girls.
That's a really good insight.
A snake is an enemy in your dreams. And he had the snake, and he's trying to warn her. I don't think he was trying to harm her. And Nancy was like, he was trying to hurt you. He probably would have hurt you. I don't think he was going to hurt her. I think he was trying to save her.
Right. Didn't he say, I have a message for you?
I have a message for you.
Yeah.
that could have been something telling him like, listen, these girls are not for you. These girls are your enemy. Or that one girl, Nancy, not even the two, because they're just followers.
Yeah.
But that one girl, Nancy, is not your friend. She's an enemy.
I didn't think of it that way. I just thought it was like Manhattan, like there's just crazy folks everywhere.
Felt like
but
that
no,
was
that's
metaphorical.
a perfect. Absolutely, he could have been holding any animal.
Yeah.
He could have been without an animal.
Right.
But he had a snake. No,
right.
that's purposeful.
Right.
I just put that together.
And if you noticed at the end, Nancy had the snakes on her hand.
She sure did.
So she was the one that he was trying to warn
her about.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. That's really, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, I'm referring to my notes. I wrote down absolute power corrupts absolutely. Nancy thought or was trying to harness absolute power. No one, first of all, that goal, that intention is unwholesome. If you want complete control over yourself, yes, she wanted complete control over the coven, over the group of girls that she was with, whom she didn't know very long, and control in general. She didn't know Sarah from a hole in the wall. Now they turned on Sarah, the minions, just as quickly as they were attracted to her in the first place. They were sheep. They were definitely sheep because, okay, I mean, we can get more specific. Nev Campbell played someone with a skin condition on her back.
Yeah.
So she was very self-conscious, very meek and humble about that. Rachel, was it? Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel.
Plays, or is that the actress's name? Whatever. But the black girl, she played someone who was getting bullied and tormented by this racist.
Racially, yeah.
I don't want to use the word, but she was racist. I was gonna say starts with a C and ends with a T.
Stop
but
it.
she was very nasty to her. She's combing her hair.
Yeah.
I guess Rachel had used the brush because girls share items sometimes, brushes or whatever. So there's the bully says she found a pubic hair in her brush. And then she's obviously saying it loud enough for the black girl to hear it. And she's like, it's not a pubic hair. It's just one of Rochelle's little nappy hairs. I'm like, no, she didn't. So then finally Rochelle gets pissed off and she's like, why are you doing this to me? I really want to know why.
Yeah.
And she's like, you want to know why? Because I don't like little negroids. I'm like, negroids? What? Okay. Yeah. So anyway, they all do some magic to mitigate their circumstances respectively. So Nancy just wants to be king of the world, whatever. We know that. I think Sarah, the main one, she wants to just get the hell out of Dodge and like start her or continue her life.
But she wanted him to be obsessed with her. She wanted him to be in love with her. And that turned out wrong, She did. Yeah. She did a love spell. Yeah. And he became obsessed and violated her. Basically molested her. Yeah. And then she stopped right there. She stopped before he even got to the physical violation. Yeah. Because she was like, okay, this is too much. And then she didn't crave more after that. Like Nancy did. Nancy, the shit was still fucking up and she's like, I want more, I still want more. Like, she was an addict. Right. Sarah's like, let's reset. But yeah, so Rochelle goes, I guess they take a hair from one of the bullies' head. They take a hair from the bully's head and they're diving. She's diving because they take diving together, and Rochelle does a perfect dive, and the bully's hair is falling out, just like falling out, and then she goes, I don't know why. She's sitting down with like a skull cap on because it's 90s, so the makeup was like, But anyway, she looks almost bald, and she's like, I don't know why it keeps falling out. What did I do to anyone? Like you don't know what you did. And this happens in real life too. People are like, please explain to me how you think I'm a shit person because they have a whole rebuttal as to why you shouldn't think that way. You know what you did. Playing victim.
I know what I experienced.
Playing victim.
Exactly.
In real life. Knowing what they did.
Knowing what they did. And so she had to get a wig, the bully. And this was the worst. This was worse than Robin Tunney's wig. This was worse than Sarah's wig. Because Sarah was really bald, the actress. She had a big old, like, it would look like from the 60s, but it wasn't. It was weird. Because the 60s had good wigs. And she had like a whole bang. It was almost like an Aaliyah bang. It was stupid. And then Nev, the one who with the skin condition, she finally miraculously got healed because of the magic. And she comes in the first day of class, like just strutting, showing off her gorgeous body, and she's getting all the attention from the guys. And then she becomes vain and narcissistic. She becomes narcissistic like Nancy. Yeah. And you can't tell her nothing. So all of these people, save for, I feel like the main one, Sarah did use magic to manipulate someone's free will. Yeah. And it backfired. So then she learned from that shit. Yeah. Yeah. But, and then she was trying to become herself. She was trying to become her own witch. She was remembering her mother. I think when her mother moved in the photograph, she was saying, you're on the right path. Yeah. You got it. That's when, that's what I was going to say. Sarah was recognizing her own power. When she was having hallucinations, Sarah was having hallucinations because Nancy's like, well, there can't be two big bad wolves.
Yeah.
Obviously, Nancy was jealous of Sarah because Sarah had a natural
her power
gift,
within,
but didn't abuse it.
Right. And that's in real life too.
Oh,
I feel like that's in real life too, because a lot of people can see our power before we see it.
Yes.
A lot of people know that we have a certain light and we have a certain strength and power before we see it. And they want to destroy that light and destroy that power and destroy you, so you won't see your light and you won't know what your power holds. You know what I mean? And I felt like she seen her power before Sarah even seen it. Like Sarah didn't even know her power until the deepest, darkest moment when she was laying on the floor thinking she was gonna fucking die. She then recognized her power within, and then like acknowledged, hey, I'm stronger than this girl. I'm stronger than this. She had to do some deep work in that moment to realize all this shit was out of fear. She was making me see all this shit out of fear. I was operating from her level of frequency, and that's how she controlled me.
Right.
And once she snapped out of it, she recognized her power and recognized her source and recognized she was the powerful one out of all of them. So that happens in real life too. Like demons can see your light and your power before you even know it.
Yes, ma'am.
And I speak on this all the time.
They're on the prowl. I had this at least a half dozen times that I can remember. It probably happened more, but I can name at least a half dozen demons that I won't name.
A
half dozen. That's a lot.
I'm so done with you.
I mean, and I'm sure you can too. When you are the light. Walking in light, and it's not even like all light either. It's light and knowledge of shadow self, because it's light and shadow are we live in a realm in which duality does exist.
Yes.
And I'm like, in the multiverse there has to be like it's both and there's other shit besides two, but right here we got to deal with the here and now. And I love what you said, because this is all indicative, like reflective of actual real life.
Right.
Her fear, I wrote down in all caps, fear equals consent.
Yes, that's what we talked about yesterday.
Girl, when you said, because when she was laying down there on the floor in her own house, so Nancy comes over to Sarah's house to intimidate her and I guess to kill her. She's like, tonight, my dear, you're going to die. She was going to try to kill her because she
wanted
was
her to kill
by
herself.
Right.
So she was going to drive her nuts so she could kill herself.
Right, which meant that she was going to try to kill her. She was going to try to bring about the situation in which she would kill herself, which means she's the killer. And like you said, only out of necessity, not only, but a lot of times out of necessity is when you find your power. It's not like you have to be pressed and challenged enough and like kind of pushed in the corner, literally, sometimes. And so her fear gave her consent. Her fear indicated consent for Sarah's fear indicated Sarah's consent to give to Nancy to frighten the shit out of her. So when Sarah was fearful, Sarah was seeing that she had roaches growing up her legs, and she had all these horrible hallucinations. Like she even hallucinated that her parents died in a plane crash,
so it gave
which wasn't true.
Nancy full control.
Yes, and then the more she believed, and the more she gave into the fear, the worse it got, obviously. So fear is consent, and I think that that's true in real life as well. When they push certain friends, media, whatever, when they push certain agendas to make you afraid, and the news is 95% negative stories. If you get a good story, it's like 1 hour maybe, and you have to it's like in the middle, so you have to watch all this other shit.
Making you operate on that fear frequency.
Yes. And so this way, if you're fearful enough, then you'll subconsciously consent. And all they need is your consent, because then that's how they bypass karma.
Easier to control.
And easier to control. So the point is awareness. And anyway, Nancy became aware in a mental hospital. Or she didn't become aware. I don't know. She sure did. I thought she was in the craft too, but then I was like looking for her. Maybe she was a consultant or something.
Right.
Because she does know a lot about it, the actress. I like her too.
Yeah.
The other one, so the other two minions at the end of the movie, anyway, Sarah found her power. Nancy found a psych ward. The other two minions come to see if she still has her powers or not, because I guess everyone
want to be
lost
friends still.
Yeah, does that sound real life familiar?
No, yes,
right,
absolutely.
I'm just saying.
They did her dirty.
You're checking in on your welfare. Do you still have your powers? And she's like,
yeah,
whatever she said, but it wasn't a committed answer.
Right.
And then they're like, she probably doesn't have her powers. And then she makes like a tree limb or something fall on their asses. And then, anyway, I guess they run off and do their thing. Nancy is away. The two minions are probably petrified of Sarah. Yeah. And Sarah goes on about her business.
And I think Nev got her scars back because she was covered
again
at the end. So they didn't say it, but I feel like she got her scars back. The way she was covered up, like her long sleeves and things like that.
I think so. Yeah. Everyone reverted back to before the blessing, the blessings of the magic, I guess. Yep, except for Sarah. Yeah. Sarah's like, I ain't messing no more with people in love and free will. And I'm gonna be more aware of energy vampires. Like literally, people try to take your soul. Right. And I think that's how it ended. Yeah. So I think she lived happily ever after. She reconnected with her mother spiritually. Her father didn't die after all. And Nancy said, I'm flying in the psych ward. And she had scratches on her face and her hair was a mess. Oh, God. So that's how it ended. So moral of the story, don't be a dictator. If you get a taste of... See, power is such a loaded word. We can do a thing on that. If that warrants an episode on itself. But like they say, I forgot who said it, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. So I feel like just go with... Be full with the blessings you get. I'm not saying don't take agency in your life. I'm saying don't obstruct other people's agency. Right. That's what I'm saying. Because the shit will hit the fan and it will come back to you threefold. Yep. Didn't they say 3? I read 10 somewhere, but they said 3 in the movie. Yeah. So, really good movie though. I feel like I give it a 4.5 out of 5. Yes. And the 0.5 is just because of them damn wigs. Which is
if you haven't watched it, go watch it before you even listen to this podcast, because this is spoiler alert. We'll probably put that in the description box. But for sure. Yeah, go watch that first before you come here. Or just do a refresher on it, because I had to do a refresher. Go and do a refresher if you watched it before, and then come back to the podcast. And let me know your thoughts, too, and what metaphors you got from it, what things that you see that happen in real life. Tell us. Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Hush_podcast on IG. We're also on TikTok and Facebook. I feel like we're on all of the media.
Social media.
Yes. Yeah. But it's Hush Hush Taboo Talks.
Absolutely.
On all of the above. Thank y'all so much. Stay tuned to Spooktacular Spook Timber
More
and Tober.
Spook Timber episodes.
Listen, we gonna do the thing. We got an early start, so please stay tuned.
Yes.